Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on Arisaka, a movie that looks pretty intense. It's a survival movie. It's about a policewoman who has to escape her pursuers and follows the same route as the Bataan Death March. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 8. I like this movie already because it ties into history. I like historical stuff. So there's a lot of metaphors here. So from what I gather from the visuals, and Mikhail Red is the director. This is a movie about cops, crooked cops. They ambush a group of cops on the road, just so happens to be the same route as the Bataan Death March, and they kill everybody, but the one woman survives somehow. And so she's in the woods trying to survive, and over the course of that, she comes across things like this, like, some soldier who wandered into a cave to die, and his remains are still sitting there. And she's being pursued by the other crooked cops. And this little girl helps her, and I assume this is her father or grandfather, something like that. And she has to survive being hunted by these guys. So, at the same time, she's along the Death March and seeing stuff and seeing ghosts from that era. So it's very interesting, the metaphors there. Arisaka. And I love the trailer from a purely visual standpoint, although it doesn't really tell me a lot. I had to read the summary at IMDb to understand what it was about. Although some of that did come across, I'll say. A little bit does come across visually. And I suspect that it was the Bataan Death March because it had a sign that looked like a memorial, but it wasn't in English, but part of it said Death March, and I was like, could that be the Bataan Death March? It's the only Death March I really know. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty horrific. So yeah, directed by Mikhail Red. See, we got a writer here. Story by Mikhail Red, written by Anton Santamaria. Okay. And starring Maja Salvador and a lot of other actors whose work I'm not familiar with. But it looks grim and interesting. The visuals there's a lot of thunder and lightning and a lot of stormy weather during this movie. Sometimes you see it, but you don't see a lot of it because it's tough to shoot in stormy weather. And it's gonna rain, and then you got to get the equipment all wet. It's certainly tougher to make. Although these days it's a lot easier because you could do it all CGI. So this could have been a bright sunny day when they shot this. I don't know. But it looks very interesting. So here it is. Here's the shot that sort of gave it away for me. Death March. And it looks like a memorial. So they just happen to be along that road. They get ambushed by other cops. They're all horribly murdered, but somehow she survives. And you could say, I think this is in the Philippines. You could say she wakes up in front of this snake. So she has to survive in the jungle, even though she's been shot and injured. Somehow she got away, and this little girl helps her. But these are the bad guys hunting her. So I'm down with this. I'm really down with this. It looks very interesting. Now, it's not in English, but it's not striking me as a movie with a ton of dialogue-driven stuff. More esoteric. More like it's going to be, there's going to be some dialogue. More like narration. Here she is, I think, seeing a ghost. I'm not sure. So she'll have these moments where she's not being immediately chased, and then they just chase her, and there's gunplay and like there's no. I don't think there'd be a ton of dialogue during the gunplay, and she has to outmaneuver these guys in the jungle along this march, which, yeah, it's terrible. Now I'm wondering if the trail now has, I don't know, towns along it or whatever, or if it did then, and so that's intriguing to me too because of the historical aspect of it. You know what was that like? What is it like now? So you've got a lot of different things going on here, and you just got the drama of somebody trying to survive this ambush and these crooked cops or whatever. So yeah, I'd see this movie. I think it was originally, it's billed as a survival thriller movie. I think it was originally made in 2021, probably delayed because of the virus, but now it's coming out, and or it's being released here, perhaps. Digital media, so probably goes right to streaming. I would totally be into this. I kind of like it. I'm going to give it an upvote, rare upvote for me. So Arisaka, which I assume is the main character's name, looking like an intense genre. So I would break it down. First act, she's a cop, and they're probably transporting a prisoner, something important. Maybe she's new on the force, and they get ambushed. Horrible massacre. She just barely manages to survive and get away. They think she's dead, or they lose her. However they lose her. Second act, she wakes up. She's horribly injured, and she's got to survive. So she picks herself up, kind of assesses the situation, starts walking, runs into the little girl, finds allies in the jungle, starts seeing things. During the course of that, the cops, for whatever reason, decide, maybe we better go look for her. I'm not sure. That's the one aspect of it. It's a little unclear. Maybe they get word that she's still alive, so they go back into the woods because they obviously have to kill her because she's a witness. And so they're hunting her. She continues to move and get away. She comes up with a plan to escape, and I don't know, maybe they confront her at one point and she manages to defend herself, and probably in the third act we get some sort of final confrontation where she kills them all, hopefully. I would be rooting for her. I mean, I already am rooting for her, and I haven't seen the movie. Would she survive at the end? Likely, I would say. I would say it's likely she survives. There's a chance it could end very grimly and she dies, maybe protecting the kid or something noble like that. But I think it's going to be she survives. And then there's a metaphor between that and the Bataan Death March, So, yeah, interesting movie. Arisaka. Look for it. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for more base takes, including a Hollywoke hot take and a news blast. Also, check out my book tour. Dates are filling up. I am booking things left and right. I will be at the New Jersey Horror Con Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City. Hope to see you there.